So, 3 minutes past 11. We're starting now. For those who will join later, as I said, the recording will be available for everyone anyways. Yes, warm welcome to our webinar. The topic is very, very exciting, which is why there's a large turnout and a lot of interest from you, which naturally pleases us a lot. The title of this webinar is, in fact, the Real Teams Integration under our internal products and project name, One Teams Integration in Progress. Today, I will show you the interface and guide you through it a bit, and do a few use cases. But first, let's talk a bit about the technical setup, and I will begin now by sharing my desktop, so you can also see something. So, now the correct screen should be shared. Good. To explain the technical setup, what do we have here? We have a Microsoft Teams user here, and on this side, the regular menu. And you can already see that we are here in the tab of our One Teams locally. I'm sitting at a developer workstation right now so that I can also test the whole thing with myself and show it to you. And I can conduct the use cases with myself. We're in an early stage with a first version that will be made available in the next few weeks. Initially, we will, of course, also perform internal performance tests here and possibly make a few improvements. But otherwise, this is the overview of the first release and what we are showing today. As for the structure, we have a numeric keypad here on the left side, just as you know it. We have the option here to enter a number or a name for searching in the respective address books. I have our team view of our telephony solution. This means we have the presence display here. And I can see all the employees I am also authorized to view in the company. It's actually live right now. And on the right side, there's this call list where I can see both incoming and outgoing calls. We certainly have, or the question is, why do we have this? What is it good for? And why did we even make this? And in which settings can it be useful? Can this be of any use at all? The way we operate, we proactively tune into the market. This need has emerged quite strongly, not only during the initial customer meetings with new and existing clients, but also from our sales department, where they have expressed a desire to develop an active Teams integration. A brief background on the licensing model, and this is the exciting part. As some of you may know, in 2019, we had already developed the direct routing. The direct routing variant, allowing us to connect our landline telephony with the Teams account using a session border controller. For this, it was of course necessary to have the corresponding business license from the Microsoft Teams side, in addition to our session border controller for the connection of the whole thing, so that one could make calls out of the Teams interface using a keypad, as you can still see here in this presentation. All these dependencies on licenses and the session border controller are no longer necessary in this scenario. This means we are or will soon be available as an app in the Teams store, providing not only the capability to make calls directly from Teams, but also several user-friendly features of a well-established European business telephone system with its functionalities. We have agreed in an initial version on a handful of features and have started there. It will, without a doubt, be continuously developed, and just like with our other products, we're keen to take ideas, wishes, and more from our existing customers, and of course, from potential future customers as inspiration. Because that's how the product should evolve to meet your requirements. This means, what benefits do I get? One benefit is I don't need additional licenses from Microsoft. I don't need a session border controller. I can utilize it all with the E1 plan, and naturally, I automatically get the functionalities of a telephone system, simply put. Microsoft Teams has greatly benefited and earned its place in the market as a collaboration tool, with the potential to be used as a phone system. But it comes at a cost of missing out some of the functionalities of a typical phone system. And that's exactly the gap we're aiming to fill. It can be applied on an individual user basis, meaning those using a SNOM or Yealink device should continue to do so. Those who are already working with Teams and heavily dependent on it because it aligns with their line of work might find this as a practical alternative to avoid running two clients simultaneously and having to start two different ones. All right. Then we come to the corresponding test scenarios. So one can already see in the middle that we have the groupings here. One might know one thing or another from our soft phone client, already organizing in a team-wise manner in corresponding tiles with the status symbol. Phone status symbol indicating whether speaking or not speaking currently. And now, for instance, if I go and set my own status here to busy, then I am here when I close this, also here on this interface, specifically in the soft phone client, which means in the phone system, set it to do not disturb, thus being unreachable, and my entire call forwarding scenarios are activated. When one opens this in parallel, you can see it. I will minimize this briefly. This means I'll go back here and I'm available. Now we'll briefly have a little, so one can see the synchronization immediately, and it should also work in the opposite direction, exactly like that. So you can really see here live that from Teams, the status is immediately transferred to our phone system and naturally also back again. This means it's very, very important that the presence in Teams is red. Because I'm in a meeting or because I'm currently in a collaboration, and it's also important that I am not reachable on the landline side either. So I'm not disturbed when I'm in a meeting. And of course, also the other way around. When I'm currently on the landline side, talking to customers, that I cannot be internally called by someone over Teams because it might be just disruptive. For this, there is then the chat functionality in Teams where you can get in touch with the respective person. Now, I'll test the whole thing with myself, meaning my user is seen here, and now I set myself as Nikolaus Dvoracek with a message on D&D that I'm in a meeting, SAP. And again, the team app shows that I am red and on Do Not Disturb with an entry, namely meeting. I can of course also change this, for example, to sick leave or something like that, or also available again. And now I'm available again. So here too, you can see the status synchronization immediately. At this point, I would like to explain a next scenario. And for this, I would like to briefly recall our last major release product launch from our One Phone product from our One Phone app. Some may know we're not only landline providers, but also mobile service providers with our own SIM cards and unique technology. Last year, we successfully managed to win some of our customers for ourselves, allowing us to integrate the SIM card as an extension within the telephone system. This makes it possible for calls made on a mobile phone with the SIM card to go through the landline number within the GSM network, but via the telephone system. This means the status is also displayed here. Now, when I call from my mobile device, in the usual way, without using the app, my status on all devices is displayed as busy. The ones I'm not currently speaking on. Essentially, we are now syncing with the latest development in Microsoft Teams integration, which updates the status for both landline and mobile networks. This unified status across all three platforms is almost ready for release and can be eagerly tested or viewed during an appointment. This resolves the issue of aligning different communication methods so that the phone status, when I'm speaking, no matter the medium, is displayed in all sectors. It also allows me to set automatic forwarding or direct calls to the voicemail, for instance. What else is possible here? Of course, this numeric keypad is active, allowing you to easily dial a number and initiate a call, where I then can call from. This is of course also possible, and it's also possible to call from here. Where I then have this call here. So you can see that I'm using this receiver for calling. Then I have it immediately in here. And hanging up is just as straightforward. With incoming calls, it of course works the same way. The process is equally seamless. So what else do we have here? On the right side, which I forgot to mention earlier, is of course the call log, which is fetched and stored server-based. Additionally, we recently added the so-called blind transfer. This means that I now, so to speak, as my person, call this developer workstation. And then naturally, also the other device which has it installed. When I accept this, I can then forward mode, so to speak, further connect to a colleague, for example. So you immediately see here the colleagues then also immediately on red because it rang there. And thus, for example, I can definitely do one thing that doesn't work in Teams, which is connecting a call. Yes. Well, basically, that was it for the initial functionalities. And now maybe a brief outlook. We plan for this application, of course, to be equivalent to the existing softphone client in terms of functionalities. The release in this area will be announced in the coming weeks. For more details, please feel free to contact the sales representative. If I happen to be that representative, I encourage you to reach out. Should you want me to be the point of contact, please express your preference. You can directly email any queries to nikolaus.dvoracek@unicope.com regarding this topic and questions on this topic. If you're already our customer and possess any type of Teams license, whether free or paid, you are eligible to test it. I actively invite you to try it if you have use for it. It simply follows our basic strategy that it doesn't matter from our point of view with what one makes phone calls, but that internal and external availability is managed by a very high performance and smart telephone solution. We achieve this with such developments with the integration of the SIM card into business telephony, with the status synchronization and the integration with Microsoft Teams. It's a completely new feature where I just unified the status, and as a result, almost no functionalities have to be sacrificed. And that's our philosophy. Of course, I'm looking forward to your questions and your inquiries on this topic. I'll also be happy to discuss this further during a personal meeting where we can delve into the details. Additionally, once the release is complete, or when it's ready for active testing, we will be sending out the pertinent information and newsletters. Yes, we always ensure that we keep these meetings as compact and as short as possible. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.